So I always believe that through your personal work is how someone can understand what it is that you stand for. This was the first time I'm breaking away from my original line of thought. I've used Sigma's lenses on the XT5s. Unbelievable. Like the sharpness of lens straight out of the camera. You don't have to edit.
So, Ram, I've seen a bunch of your recent work. I think you've done a lot of commercial gigs. You've been shooting a lot of saris also lately.
Yes.
And also, you've been shooting a bunch of mutual friends and your personal body of work as well.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about them?
End of last year, right? When I was coming through with Sigma, I was in touch with Sigma, and they were very happy in sharing their 50 and their 35 and their 85 with me, right? And so while I wanted to try out these lenses for my father's artwork, there's also one more thing is that along with this I also wanted to test it out on like a very personal basis, right? So which is why, talking about mutual friends, I did a shoot with Chelsea where I just said, bring all the flowers that you can, right? And so she did, and the entire shoot I used nothing but the 50 and 85. The reason why is because this was the first time I'm breaking away from my original line of thought, or like from like the commercial representation of work that I've been wanting to do. And starting, that was the end of last year. That was the time when I made a decision that, let me be a little bit more quirky with my works and start exploring. Because after college, which is my master's with Hallmark, I never really explored much on the personal front. I've always had personal projects, but never, explored in a very quirky way.
Why so? Did you feel like you didn't have enough time, or was it something which just never happened?
Talking about time, so I was working with this nature documentary 5 years. Side by side, I was teaching. On top of that, I was doing like my portrait stuff.
So where did you find the time?
I didn't. That's the thing. So in between, when I had little bit here and there, of course, video game consumed my life as well. So between all of that, my personal work took a backseat, which is why every year and a half, I make sure that I take 6 months for myself to create like a new body of work. Whether I publish it, there's so many thousands of work that I've not published, because this 6 months, whenever I take off, right, when I'm trying out new lenses, that's the time when I reach out to Sigma. That's the time when I reach out to other brands. That's the time when I'm reaching out to friends who are using so many different types of equipments. It's for you to be comfortable and explore in multiple different ways and not be set in one single path, right? It's the time for you to come together and say that, okay, let me try something new. So that's when I was getting to try out Sigma, and I was like, okay, I'm trying out new lenses, right? I of course I've used Sigma's gear for like wedding shoots and things like that. That was like
the DSLR days.
DSLR days. But and those were the times when like the new art lenses were coming out, and nobody had it for rent. It was that was the time when like art lenses as like a thing came up.
Yeah.
And the videographers and all were starting to buy it, and I remember saying that, the 50 art was available for like rent for like 3,000 rupees a day.
Wow, that's
Back in the day, that was the starting cost of it, right? And I didn't trust most of these rental agencies back then, because wedding photographers, they take it, they trash it, and then they return like broken lenses. I've had autofocus motor fail on me like multiple times when I'm taking from rental houses. So I'm very, very careful about the place where I'm renting my gear from, because I can't have it fail on me during shoots, right? So which is why I've now resorted to trying out lenses, the ones that I straight get from like the brand, or I'm not trying it out at all. because I
That's
know
a
for a
good
fact that
policy.
it's a great policy. It's because I know that it's not going to fail on me, and I get to use pristine condition lenses, right? And the lenses that I got from Sigma were like top notch. It's as good as new. Nothing, no problems. I put it on, no sensor dot, nothing. It was great. It was like a brand new piece. All new boxes arrived. I came here, happily picked them up, had a look at it. And so in a span of like the week that I had these lenses to like just play around with, right? Uh, I did close to like 4 to 8 shoots
Wow, that's
in between the time. So I photographed pets, I photographed Chelsea, I photographed art, I photographed landscapes, pretty
and I
much
think
the
you also went
entire.
on a trip, if I'm not wrong. You also
Not for the Sigma one, no.
okay.
So for the I did go on a trip right around that time, but
Okay.
with like the Sigma. So the thing is, because I had limited time,
Hmm.
and this was the time when I was setting up my own studio.
Okay.
Not a lot of people know this, but I have a studio of my own, and it's a very personal space. Only like a few people have come to my studio.
I'm one of the select few. I'm very blessed.
So it's a very personal space for me, because also I share that studio with like my father, so it's a very divine work only space. There's no fooling around, there's no playtime at the studio. So when I brought these lenses with me, it was in studio with me, and I had like one-on-one time with like the Sigma, and I was a very happy person at
Excellent.
the end of it. And right after, for like my commercial shoots, it really depends, man. It like I said, the 105 macro was something that I keep going back to.
So now, tell me what happened to your 7300 Sigma lens. Do you still have it?
Unfortunately, I don't. But that's also because I don't have the camera with me. So because I had the Nikon D80. Uh, as along with the Nikon D80, I had a 18 to 135 kit lens that came with the camera, right? And I had the 70 to 300 as a extra. That was for like the Sigma for Nikon mount. But then I also realized that Sigma also made lenses for like Canon mount. Okay. So, and I wanted to move from the Nikon system to Canon, because at that point in time when wedding was picking up, everybody started picking up Canon cameras much more than Nikon at one point in time, because for like the wedding gigs, renting lenses became an easier front for me.
Hmm.
So that was a very uh interesting point where whenever I go to like these multiple lens rental houses, right? They would say, "Oh yeah, well, Nikon we had like a select selection, but then here we have these for
You have
Canon."
everything for Canon.
But at the same time, look at the selection of what we have for Sigma for Canon,
Okay.
right? So I ended up picking up a Canon body just so I could get a lot more rent access to a lot more rental lenses, right? Because of course I didn't have money back then to buy anything, right? So that happened, and post which, once I moved into the Sony, uh,
The
uh
E-mount.
yeah, my E-mount, everything like.
Yeah, E-mount is just, I think, my E-mount gear is pretty much only Sigma now.
So Sigma, it really doesn't matter what mount it is, because it's like, Sigma makes great lenses as long as people are willing to open up their mounts to Sigma. Sigma will make a lens for it, right? And I'm happy with that, because I've used Sigma for Fuji. Right, like currently I'm on like the GFX right now. So I'm waiting for the day when Sigma would make an art lens for GFX, right? If that happens, the imagine 102 megapixels with like clean, sharp.
And medium format.
So and yeah, and like the digital large format. If that combination now goes through, right? That's going to be an insane thing. But I've used Sigma's lenses on the XT5s, right? Unbelievable, unbelievable. Like the sharpness of the lens with the film simulation look of like the Fuji.
Once again, as you said, straight out of the camera, you can
Straight
get
out of the
unbelievable
camera. You
images.
don't have to edit. JPEGs export, give, finished.
Wonderful.
Because see, lenses have a great deal of uh, creative process that plays in how your picture comes out, right? The wider they are, you get like a different look. The more telephoto you go, the more compression that you get, right?
And I feel your overall composition also will change based on the lens you're
Correct,
using.
correct. So using a Sigma lens on a full frame camera will differ from that of using a Sigma lens on a APS-C sensor,
For sure.
right? The same thing goes where depending on different brands, right? If you ask me for an APS-C sensor, I would happily say Fuji, right? But with that, you club one of your Sigma lenses on it. They're X mounts, phenomenal. They're L mounts for like their Panasonics, right? The unbelievable. Like take BF for example, right? It's got an L mount, right? Use it.
It's great.
It's
The
great.
amount of flexibility it offers. They have wide lenses and they have super tele
With
lenses as well.
regards to Sigma, as long as the other brands are willing to open up their mounts to them, right? And Sigma is like, come, we're all friends here. We will
And friends with great optics.
friend with great optics. That's what. I saw the one of my friend picked up uh the new Sigma lens for the Canon mirrorless, the
Okay.
crop frame APS-C
Oh yes,
Canon
the
mirrorless lenses.
1850 and
Yes,
the
that's the one. I can't believe how light that lens
it is extremely sharp. I use that lens on a full frame body.
Right.
And it's great. The results are great. Of course, you get a slight resolution drop because of the sensor,
Correct.
but then optically it's still stellar.
That's what. So
And it's light.
see, as long as we're all friends, it's like that's the best part of being like the creative, right? You don't have fights. You don't. It's like how in our gaming world we say is let's stop like the console wars. It's like
We're
there's
all
no
friends,
PS.
yeah.
Yeah, we're all friends here. It's like forget PlayStation versus Xbox. It's like come. It's like now with everything that's been going on, Microsoft is now opening their doors and bringing all of their games to PlayStation,
No, I
right?
think it's just once the industry becomes larger, it's a win for everybody.
It's a win for everybody. So in that sense, what I'm looking for, or rather what I'm looking forward to as we're all going front, is people need to come to terms that everybody is going to be having different gears, but if there's one thing that can unify everything else and bring it in one place, like like I'm saying 50 Sigma art, it's there for Sony. It's there for every other brand that you think of, right? So it's not about the camera brand that you're using. It's about I am willing to open my heart to all of you.
Mm.
Let everybody experience that greatness, and that is what I like
That's a very
about
nice way
everything
of
else.
putting it.
Yeah, it's something that makes me happy.
Very nice. Ram, before we wind up, I want to ask you one more question.
Yes.
So you said you were on a break. You said you're doing some personal work at this point. So what can we expect from you in the coming months?
So I am keeping it under wraps for now.
Can you give us a small sneak peek? Or what can you divulge without revealing too much, maybe?
Without revealing too much, what I can divulge is I'm speaking to a diverse age group
Mm-hmm.
of people from 25 to 85.
Oh wow, okay, that's pretty much everybody.
Okay. Diverse age group, and their work are priceless.
Ooh,
I will leave you with that thought. You can't guess
I
what it is that
cannot
they
guess.
do.
I'm not going to guess.
You can't guess what industry they're in. You can't guess anything from this. But it's very, very intriguing. And I have a couple of people who are helping me out with these projects. None from the professional field.
Mhm.
I'm taking a couple of students with me to help out on this, because through this process, I want people to learn, um and so the idea is that, again, like my late mentor David Turner, what he would always say is that personal projects are what the industry defines you by, and not by your commercial work. I took this to heart because every time when someone wants to work with you, right, they're not going to be looking at your commercial work. It's like, yeah, of course, if you shoot one, you can shoot the rest. But they're going to be looking at who are you, who's the kind of person whom you are, right? For them to work with. What is your personal philosophy? What are your personal politics, right? Whom do you believe in? What are the principles that you stand for? Now, if the people that want to work with you, I'm not talking about corporates, by the way, these are people as independents who want to work with other independents, and that's like my clientele. So I don't have like a big company that hires me. I usually have like one independent who hires me as another independent for me to work with them, and that's how these projects come into play.
Very nice.
Right. So they are not going to be looking at me for, oh, this guy is like, oh, his pictures are like, wow. No, that's not the case. It's like, oh, he is someone who stands up for people. He's someone who does activities. So one of the reasons how uh, things worked well with NIFT as well was the time when I was working with TM Krishna. He put me on to Vetiver Collective, where spent about 6 months every weekend training the children there between the age group of 8 and 13, right? In photography. And they got to document their own lives with photographs. And all being this short, their perspectives were like this, right? Think about it. They got to walk around their own village. They got to walk around their own community. They got to communicate with them from like a different perspective. And once, so we had like a huge gallery exhibit in spaces where we just had all of these pictures that were done by these children go up. We had director Paranjit who came and inaugurated the program, right? So we had interesting things where this actually led to some very interesting projects that came my way after, because they were said, oh, you're the guy who trained the kids, right? So it's because of a personal projects like this where I took some time out to train children, to work with them, to work with a community of people who support you through something that you're doing differently, right? That will bring you more commercial work. So I always believe that through your personal work is how someone can understand what it is that you stand for. For example, I could say the same about you. You always have like your personal work on your Instagram. But when I log into your what do I say, your website, it has like, that's
Yes,
your
the whole
name
other
is in
side.
color. You have
It is.
red in your name in color in your website, right? But if I go to your Instagram, it is monochromes. People understand you as to the kind of vision that you bring to the table for like your personal work, right? They don't care about the commercial work that you do, because that's any great photographer who has an understanding of aesthetics, who has an understanding of their surroundings, and who have an understanding of the vision that the client wants. It's about what the client want rather than what you want.
For my personal work, it's all about what I want.
Exactly.
For my commercial work, client tells me what they want, and then I will go head over heels. I will do whatever it is that they want, and I will.
Whether if it is good or bad, you're getting paid for
It
it.
doesn't matter. It's end of the day, it's what they want.
Yeah,
So I will still do it anyway.
if they want you standing upside down taking that picture, I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try doing that. Because
Definitely.
that's what they want.
Definitely.
Right. And as long as they're clear about it, you can try and educate the client. But if they say, no, we are clear on what we want, I'm happy to do that for you. But that's where we are, and that's where I'm at right now. So I'm at the time where I'm still working. It's not that when I say that I'm on a break, it's not mean that I'm not
Taking
working
up any projects at all.
at all. I'm still taking up smaller stuff. It's just the bigger stuff that comes my way. it's like I'm usually giving a prioritizing my work over
Hmm.
a commercial work that takes me away for a while. So this way, smaller stuff means I can still put food on the table, but at the same time, I get enough time to work on my own stuff.
Excellent. Ram, that's been super insightful. Thank
Mhm.
you for giving us a tour of what of your thoughts and everything else that's going on around in your life. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. I'm see some of the views I have are radical. Some of the goals that I have in life are you can't say ambitious, but again radical in expanse of thought. So I'm glad to share those along with you for the first time where I'm being this open about so
On
many
camera,
things
especially.
on camera especially. Yes. Usually I'm reserved when it comes to sharing my thoughts so openly, but with you, I thought, why not?
No, and
So,
I'm so glad because I've known you for quite a while now, and we've never had this before. We've never had this kind of conversation before.
right. Like we said, we go back to video games.
Always, video games, always. Thank you so much for coming.
Great.
And thank you all for tuning in. It's been wonderful to have Ram with us.
Yes.
And very soon we'll have plenty of other photographers and big names from the industry. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Sigma. Thanks for everything.